Hello and welcome to a very different video to my usual videos. I know this is probably the first time, presumably for most of you, well I say most of you, probably the first time you've ever heard my voice, which is probably quite weird. Before we get this video properly started, I'd like to formally apologise to everyone, as I am British, and I understand that that is a terrible tragedy. But anyway. So basically this video is just a bit of a behind the scenes of my latest video, Wanderer, a crewed mission to Juna. I'm actually quite proud of this one, and although I'm pretty sure it hasn't gotten quite as many views as my Jamestown video, which absolutely popped off for no apparent reason, I'm very happy about that. I'm in no way complaining, but I'm just a bit confused, quite frankly, because I've posted loads of videos before, and I get none of them are really to that standard. I get that, and I guess it's For All Mankind, and everyone loves For All Mankind, but considering my usual videos get like tens of views, and Jamestown video got like 8,000, I am completely blown away, and I am so thankful. Really, I can't explain how thankful I am. I mean, I started this channel just as a little thing that I would do for fun, and honestly it's still kind of that, but you know, the fact that one of my videos has gone 8,000 views, I don't know, it means something to me, because it just goes to show that I can do well on YouTube, I guess, if I try, or maybe if I just have the right video. But you know, I'm very glad about that. But maybe let's talk about the video at hand. Earlier in the drive, because I kind of start this video after I started driving, but anyway, I actually crashed headfirst into a surface feature, because I thought it was one of those ones which you just phase through, but it wasn't. So I crashed into it and blew up my headlights, but it was fine apart from that. But if you look at the video, you'll see that when I land the base, the rover has headlights on the front, but after this thing, oh look, we're arriving at the lander. That's quicker than I thought. Okay. So let me just explain this and I'll get back to that. So the back bit of the rover, I thought you could get crew in through that, and because of that I didn't put I covered up the top hatch, which was a mistake, because you can't get crew in through the back hatch, as you can see here. I try and get it in and it doesn't do anything because you can't get in through that way. So that was a bit of a problem. In the end I had to actually move the solar panels out the way using an engineer, as you'll see here. Yeah, see, move the solar panels out the way using an engineer and then get in through the top, which wasn't ideal, but it worked, and that's kind of, you know, the important part. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. Yeah, so when I land it with the base, you can see it has headlights, but of course, when you see it driving, it doesn't. Might be a continuity error, I'll let you decide. To get back to talking about this, the lander, I asked my sister for some suggestions for different vehicles in this video, because I usually do that. I ask friends and I ask family for suggestions, just because. And the suggestion that my sister gave for the main mothership, my younger sister suggested that I call it Globetrotter. I of course didn't go with that, because that would be a terrible title, but instead I did actually go with calling the lander Globetrotter instead, because, I don't know, compromise. I thought it was a kind of funny name, I thought it was alright, and I thought, you know, it'll make her happy, so I did it. And you know, she can just think to herself, I named that. You can see me doing a little bit of an IVA here. I think it looks pretty cool, quite frankly. I really like this rover. I've had it for quite a while. I would just made it whilst I was messing around in the Space Main hangar, but I decided I'd actually use it for a video, which is shocking because usually my random messing around designs never see the light of day. But in this case it actually worked out quite well, because I needed a rover, because I needed to pick up the crew, so I thought, oh, I have this one in my spaceplane hangar, I might as well just use it. So, you know, that worked out pretty well. I'm thinking I'll probably do a part 2, possibly do a part 2 to this video, But what I reckon I'll do is maybe send a, because actually, okay, let me just explain something first of all. The propulsion stage I used had barely enough fuel to get to Juno, and that was a bit of an oversight on my half, but basically the crew's stranded there. So I'm going to either have to send a refueling mission, maybe an ISRU. What I'll probably do is send a nuclear propulsion stage. But I want it to be quite realistic. I mean, not overly realistic. I mentioned this in the description of my Wanderer video, but basically the reason why this took me so long is because I wanted it to be really realistic. I wanted the first Juno mission I ever did to be realistic. And funnily enough, well, this is the first Juno mission I've ever done. I know not first Juno mission, like the first crewed Juno mission, which is embarrassing considering how long I've had this game. But, at least it's a good one, I think. But funnily enough, of course, as I mentioned before, despite this being trying to be realistic, I didn't have enough fuel on the propulsion stage. So I kind of messed that one up. But, I can make a good thing out of this. Part of the inspiration for the Wanderer ship, the main inspiration being Stowaway, the film on Netflix. Really good film, I think. I'd highly recommend. But the other inspiration being the Discovery 1 from 2001: A Space Odyssey, although a little bit less, I'd say. But what I'm thinking is if I send a nuclear propulsion stage, I can sort of make it inspired by the Discovery 1, or maybe the original Discovery 1 design, where it's got those massive radiators, and I think that looks so cool. So I think I might copy that. But you'll have to wait and see, I guess. I mean, I don't know if I'll actually ever end up doing this because, it's really close to KSP2 coming out. So is there even a point in making KSP1 videos? I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I kind of glossed over the entire drive back, but in my defense, it's kind of a bit dull. You might have noticed when I cut, previously, it kind of changed time suddenly, and that was because I accidentally pressed the skip to, sunrise button instead of, that was the back button when I was using the EVA construction. So I accidentally skipped until sunrise, which wasn't my intention, but it gives some cool shots, I guess. I think I'm getting kind of close. I'm not sure. I don't actually know. Maybe it's completely far away and I just can't tell. The problem is the only view I've got of this video is a really, really small preview window up in the top right corner, and it's tiny. It's the size of my. Oh god, what's it the size of? It's a couple centimeters tall at least. I mean, it's really not very tall. And the resolution is quite low because otherwise I haven't got the greatest PC, I have to admit. It's a GTX 1060, I don't know. But I will be getting a new PC soon, but we'll have to wait and see what that one's like. It'll be better than this one, that's for sure. But yeah, it's a really small screen and it's a really low resolution screen as well, so I can hardly make anything out. I should probably mention maybe the names of the Kerbals, because they do have meaning, at least two of them do. Astrid Kerman is named after my sister, the one who actually suggested the name for the lander, as I mentioned mentioned before. And Matthew Kerman is named after another KSP YouTuber, who if you haven't heard of, you should definitely go check out. But because of how many subscribers he has and how many subscribers I have, it's almost certain that you will have heard of him and not heard of me. So Matthew KSP, if you search out Matthew KSP, unfortunately Matt Lown comes up instead of him. But maybe I'll put him on a card or something. Yeah, I'll put him on a card. So I'm getting kind of halfway now, which is pretty good. I mean, you gotta listen to me ramble on for however long more, but I'm sure you think I'm a very interesting person. If you would like, you could buy me a new microphone, because as you've probably already realised, this one's pretty bad. I mean, it's not that bad. I've heard worse. I've heard much worse. But this isn't exactly the kind of microphone you'd be recording voiceovers, professional voiceovers on. I mean, I'm not saying this is a professional voiceover. By no means is this a professional voiceover. I mean, you know, I'm the one doing it, for God's sake, but, you know, it was... I would like to get a better microphone, but that's definitely not on my high priority list, you know, it's something down there. I turned on the lights here for a second, just to have a look at what they'd look like. It'd look better if, like I mentioned before, I hadn't crashed into a rock and blown up my headlight. But, you know, you live and you learn. I guess I'll make sure to not do that next time. But I don't think I'm going to be doing a Juno Rover for a while now, because that's already been done by me. I have been working on a sequel to my Jamestown video, except it's really difficult because, of course, how do you expand a surface base in the way that they do it in For All Mankind in KSP? Because it's so complicated. I mean, I thought maybe I can, like, clamp onto it, but that feels like it's not going to work very well. It's taken me a while, and unfortunately, I've got, like, 2 other videos that need the Jamestown Season 2 to be finished before I can do them. So, well, basically, Jamestown Season 2 is holding back loads of my videos. I have a Skylab and Space Shuttle that I made, like, inspired by For All Mankind, that I just can't post because I need to wait until Jamestown Season 2. I've finished Jamestown Season 2, which is, it's not going well, I'll tell you that. But I think we're kind of approaching the base now. I mean, we're pretty close. I think it's like but yeah, still got a little bit left. I'm sure you'll be devastated when you have to go. If you haven't already clicked off this video because of my... Oh, I've got to look something up real quick. Hold on. This has been bugging me all day. Hold on. Incessant. That's the word. Incessant. Okay, so I don't know what... I was like, it was on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, so I was going to say because of my incessant ramblings. But I forgot the word for incessant, so... yeah, just another look at the IVA. I really do quite like using the lander can as a rover cockpit, because I feel like I like the rover version of the Mark II lander can, but it's a bit too long. I actually used it in the Wanderer video as a sort of cupola module-esque type thing, like a viewing module where you can have a little lookout. I think we're just approaching the base now, if I'm not mistaken, but I can't see anything because it's like 3 pixels. But anyway, so yeah, I used the rover cockpit as a sort of viewing window thing, and I think that works quite well, because if you use the cupola module piece, it just looks kind of samey because you do the same thing over and over and over again. You use it every single time, and you kind of want to switch things up a bit. So we're just approaching the base now. I'm really proud of this base, actually. Although it did actually have a bit where I time warped and it flipped over, which wasn't great. I'm really, really happy with the little wind speed spinny thing. Okay, I've got to look something else up. Hold on. An anemometer. An anemometer. Okay, I think that's what it's called. I'm really proud of that on top of the flagpole. But yeah, I just think the base looks pretty cool, although it is very small, especially next to the rover, but that's just because the rover is horrendously oversized. But that's not my fault, that's just how KSP is. So I just, get the Kerbals out, just get them to walk over, get into the base. I actually had a bit of a problem with the solar panel on the side, which you can't see yet because I forgot to deploy it, but when I do deploy it, I actually had to remove that and then place it back on because it was stowed, in air quotes, because it was inside of the fairing, so it literally would not, it refused to extend, and that was really annoying because I wanted to have power on my Mars base. So I had to rip it off, attach it back on, which was less than ideal. Some of the modules do actually have crew capacity inside them, where I've put like a crew thing on the inside, as you can see me clipping, and that one was not one of them because I forgot which ones were which. but there was a bit of a weird bug kind of thing where I couldn't click on it from certain angles. I really don't understand. So yeah, I'm just turning on the anemometer, the spinny thing, the wind spinny thing, because it turns off when you leave physics range, because game is like that. Just about approaching the end of the video now, so I guess I mean, it's not quite the end, but it's almost the end, so I guess I'll just say bye now, and then you can like appreciate the ending shot or whatever.